Let's talk about pages 4 and 5 in page 1131. This is a lesson called Factorial Notation, and the reason for that exclamation point you'll find out shortly. I gotta read this problem to you. You see this in your pace. We have 3 office workers: Katrina, Samuel, Rachel. 3 cars: Ford, Holden, and Nissan. I read that, I thought, Holden? Are they making that up? I've never heard of a Holden. How many of you have ever heard of a Holden vehicle? Aha! If you raised your hand, I bet you're in Australia. I did a quick search on my phone, did a Google search, found out that General Motors had a subsidiary in Australia for many years and sold a car under the brand name of Holden. I did not know that till just now. All right, so now you learned something on the side, okay? It talks about, well, let me use a different example here. Let's say we have 4 boys, Taylor, Jordan, Levi, and Joey, and they are going to sit together at lunch at a table that has 4 chairs on one side. All right, how many ways can they be arranged? Well, I can put Taylor in this seat, and I can put Jordan next to him, and then Levi and Joey. Let me do it this way. How many choices are there to sit in the first seat? Well, as they approach the table in seat number 1, there's all 4 there. There's 4 choices. That's what I want to write down. But once one of them has chosen a seat and sat down, now there are only 3 boys left who can choose from that second seat. Now that 2 of the boys are seated, how many boys are still standing? 2 of them. So there's 2 that can choose between this one, and then whoever's left gets the last seat. So the possibilities for arranging these 4 is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. We multiply these out. So 12 times 2 times 1, so 24, okay? Now this is different than what we did in the previous one because we do not have clones of these students. So I can't say I could have Taylor sitting, in all 4 and Jordan in all of them and have, 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Because I only have 1 of each person. So once you put somebody in this seat, now there's only 3 to choose from to go in this one, etc. So the shortcut for writing this is we write down how many choices there are, and then we do this exclamation point behind it. So there's a new math symbol for you, all right? Exclamation point behind a number, and a lot of times in symbols they'll use it with n to represent a number. And that means n factorial, or that number factorial, which means you take that number times the next smaller number times the next smaller number all the way till you get to 1. All right? Let's do that with the letters that make up the word April. Let's say I want to rearrange the letter. How many different ways could I rearrange these letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. So I could put any letter in the first spot, but then once I've used that letter, then there's only 4 choices left. 3, 2, 1. So we could say that to solve this, I'm doing 5 factorial and multiply 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So 20 times 6, 120. Wow. Okay. That's all you're doing. So up here on the top of page 5, you see 4 factorial. That's basically what we're doing here. You just take 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Number 2, it says 8 factorial. So on your calculator, don't try to do all this in your head, all right? 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. We get all the way up to 10 and 11. 9 should be pretty easy. 10, you definitely should do 10 in your head, okay? And same with number 3. Use your noggin for that one. Now number 11, 12, 13, okay? And then actually all the rest, 14, 15, 16, all of those are similar to what we did here. So you just take how many can be assigned to a certain spot and set up a factorial. Or count the letters that make up the word, like in number 13, the letters in the word margin. So you count up how many letters there are, and it's that factorial. All right. That one's not hard. Have fun with that one. We'll build on this concept in your next lesson.